Greetings, fellow thinkers. Let's spark those neurons and engage the cogs. Welcome back to Psyche Academy, where we investigate the what, why, and how of the mind. Last time, we defined psychology. Today, we're diving into the historical and modern schools of thought, the different lenses through which psychologists view the human mind and behavior. It's like looking at the same mountain from different angles. Each perspective reveals something unique. We'll trace this journey from the very first school to the exciting modern branches. Early schools of thought. Our journey begins with Structuralism, championed by Wundt and his student Titchener. They focused on conscious experience and wanted to break it down into its basic elements, much like a chemist breaks water into hydrogen and oxygen. They used a technique called introspection, a fancy word for asking people to look inward and describe their sensations, feelings, and images. They essentially asked, what are the components of your consciousness? Structuralism significantly influenced early 1900s psychology by breaking consciousness into its component parts. However, introspection was deemed unscientific by many because it was too subjective. Your internal report couldn't be externally verified. This paved the way for the next major school. Functionalism. Influenced by Darwin's theory of natural selection, Functionalism shifted the focus from the mind's structure to its functions. Key figures like John Dewey and William James emphasized how mental processes, like learning, memory, problem-solving, and motivation, help individuals adapt to their environment. For example, imagine a clock. Structuralism looks at the gears. Functionalism asks, what does the clock do? It tells time, which helps us adapt to our daily schedule. James, who even established a lab at Harvard, argued that psychology should study what the mind is for and how behavior helps people navigate the world. Functionalists applied these principles to education, highlighting the importance of adaptation. They viewed consciousness as a continuous stream interacting with the environment. In contrast, Gestalt psychology emerged in the early 20th century as a reaction against structuralism. Founded by Wertheimer, Kafka, and Kohler, Gestalt means form or whole. They argued that perception is more than the sum of its parts. The mind actively organizes sensory input into meaningful wholes. Imagine a movie. It's just a series of still images, but we perceive apparent motion. We see the whole movement, not the individual frames. This demonstrates that our experiences transcend basic sensory input. They applied these organizational principles to the study of human behavior, focusing on the whole rather than individual components. Behaviorism and psychoanalysis. Next, we have behaviorism, a radical shift pioneered by John B. Watson and further developed by B. F. Skinner. Behaviorists rejected the study of consciousness and the mind entirely. Why? Because they weren't observable. They focused only on observable behavior, defined as responses to stimuli. Watson, influenced by Pavlov's work on classical conditioning, argued that psychology should be a science of behavior, emphasizing conditioned responses, learned behavior, and animal behavior. Skinner expanded its applications and popularized the approach. The core principle remains: only observable and measurable behaviors are suitable for scientific study. Now, contrast that with psychoanalysis, founded by Sigmund Freud. Freud emphasized the role of unconscious motivations in behavior and personality development, particularly the impact of early childhood experiences and drives as expressed through thoughts and actions. His psychoanalytic approach used free association and dream interpretation to explore these unconscious elements. His ideas influenced neo-Freudians like Jung, Adler, Horney, and Erikson, who modified some of his concepts and adopted a broader psychodynamic approach. This work offered a contrasting perspective to behaviorism, viewing human behavior as driven by unconscious desires and conflicts. Let's take a quick breather before we continue. If this lesson is hitting the mark for you, please tap the like button now to confirm it. Next, take a second to subscribe so the future sections show up in your feed. Finally, please write a quick comment telling me what is making you stick with this video so far. Knowing this can help me improve all future videos. Done? Great. Now, let's dive into the next section. Modern perspectives. The modern perspectives, starting with the humanistic perspective, often called the third force in psychology. Key figures like Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers focused on individuals' inherent capacity to direct their own lives. This approach emphasizes free will, self-determination, and the drive for self-actualization, achieving your full potential. Humanists believed both psychoanalysis and behaviorism undermined human freedom and dignity, offering instead a more positive and growth-oriented view of human nature. Gaining prominence in the 1960s, the cognitive perspective focuses on higher-order mental processes like memory, intelligence, language, problem-solving, and decision-making. Influenced by Gestalt psychology and the rise of computers, it explores how we acquire knowledge about the world. Key cognitive figures include Hermann Ebbinghaus, who studied memory using nonsense syllables, and Bartlett, who investigated the combined cognitive and social aspects of remembering. Modern cognitive psychology also emphasizes constructivism, the idea that individuals actively build their understanding of the world through exploration. Piaget's theory of child development is a prime example of constructivism. The socio-cultural perspective expands on this, arguing that the mind is a joint cultural construction, emerging from interactions between children and adults. This perspective focuses on the impact of social and cultural factors, like norms, class, and ethnicity, on behavior. Research highlights cultural differences, such as individualism in Western cultures versus collectivism in East Asian cultures. Festinger's cognitive dissonance theory illustrates how inconsistencies between beliefs and actions can influence behavior. Finally, we have two perspectives rooted in biology and evolution. The biological perspective examines the biological underpinnings of behavior and mental processes, focusing on the role of the nervous system, hormones, brain chemicals, and the glandular system in influencing behavior. The evolutionary perspective, inspired by Darwin, explains behavior through the lens of evolution. It argues that internal mechanisms and adaptations are products of natural selection for survival and reproduction. Evolutionary psychologists, like David Buss, study how behavioral tendencies, like aggression, may be genetically influenced and passed down through generations. They also consider social influences alongside evolutionary factors. Psychology at work in applied fields. Now that we understand the major theoretical frameworks, let's look at psychology at work, the diverse subfields where these theories are applied. It's important to distinguish between key roles. Psychiatrists have MD degrees and prescribe medication. Psychologists have PhD or PsyD degrees and study behavior patterns and influencing factors. Psychiatric social workers, master's degrees, focus on environmental factors. Psychology encompasses numerous subfields. Examples of work roles include clinical psychology, which focuses on therapy for mental disorders and related stress. Counseling psychology addresses motivational and emotional problems and adjustment to life changes. Community psychology focuses on mental health program development and working with special populations. School psychology works within educational systems, administering tests and consulting on policy. Organizational psychology works with businesses to improve efficiency, focusing on HRD and change management. The discipline is divided into core subfields and applied subfields. Core subfields include cognitive psychology, thinking, memory, developmental psychology, lifespan changes, experimental psychology, controlled experiments, physiological psychology, brain, body, behavior relationship, and social psychology, group behavior, attitudes. Applied subfields take those core principles and use them in the real world. Think environmental psychology, humans and environment, health psychology, psychological factors in health, industrial organizational psychology, work settings, school psychology, student support, sports psychology, athletic performance, forensic psychology, legal justice systems, and community psychology, community-level mental health. The field is always expanding. We see emerging branches in interdisciplinary fields like aviation, space, military, engineering, and managerial psychology. This reflects the incredible and expanding applications of psychological principles to virtually every aspect of human life. Conclusion. Today, we tracked the fascinating history of psychology, from the initial focus on structure to the emphasis on function, the whole, observable behavior, the unconscious, free will, cognition, and finally, biology and culture. We also explored the diverse, applied careers and subfields that bring these theories to life. You now have a foundational understanding of psychology as a broad, dynamic subject. Thank you for your attention. That concludes our coverage of Chapter 1, Introduction to Psychology, Part 2. So, fellow thinkers, looking back over today's concepts, where have you observed these patterns in action, in yourself or others, or in a situation you've encountered? We welcome your observations. Please share your observations in the comments below. To instantly test your understanding, the review quiz is linked in the description. Next up, Chapter 2, Research in Psychology. To make sure you catch it immediately, check the playlist, Psyche Fundamentals, and ensure your notifications are on. I invite your questions now. What are you curious to know more about? Until next time, have a productive day.